Hello, friends. Welcome to the Particularly Peculiar podcast. My name is Taylor. I am your host.
And my name's Christian. I'm your other host.
And today, you guys, we are doing something a little bit different. We've decided, since we have actually been very busy.
Incredibly busy. We're actually recording this on Monday, the night before it gets released on Tuesday.
We are, and we usually aren't so lax about stuff like this, but I am coming up on the last week of my summer term in school, so I'm working really hard on finishing up last final projects. Christian has been picking up extra shifts at his job, so this is the most we've even seen each other in probably 2 weeks, honestly.
Right. Which is nice that we have this podcast to
yes, to bring us together.
It forces us to spend time together, which is good.
We have to sit down and actually talk to each other about cool stuff, not about bills and children and
right.
Well, our children are cool.
They
just
are
to
very
be clear,
cool.
But,
they're actually very cool.
You know, it can be a bit much sometimes.
Yeah.
So we decided to take this week a little bit easier, but we are still going to be bringing you some strange and peculiar content. Today, we are going to be talking about universe origin theories.
Yes, very peculiar things.
What we want to do is keep it very open and just relaxed and talking back and forth like a typical conversation.
Speaking of peculiar things, before we get into today's topic, I saw something in the news that I wanted to bring up that I thought was pretty interesting. It's pretty dark, kind of, but very strange. When I heard it, I'm not sure what's going on. So I stumbled across this article on the internet, of course, and it was talking about on Sunday, so it would have been June 26th. Sunday, 22 teenagers were found dead inside of a South African bar, and no one knows how they died. They just found them. All initial reports say nobody knows what happened. There's no signs of anything.
Like no signs of foul play or like
right.
Was there like any blood or?
Not that I'm aware of. And then I think some of them were still barely alive, and then they died later at the hospital.
That sounds like some sort of like poison gas or like something like that is what I would initially think of.
Yeah, the biggest thing is everybody's thinking that it's poison.
But also, why are they teenagers? Why are they in a bar? Well, I guess I don't know what the drinking age is in South Africa. Maybe it's younger. I'm not sure.
Well, the drinking age I think is like 18 or something there, and they were all under the age of 18.
So they shouldn't have even been in there at 4 a.m.
Yeah, so they promoted for that Saturday night, they had on their Facebook page promoted a hookah, food, and alcohol event. And says the social media post promised live performances, surprise guests, and various DJs.
Well, so I wonder, it must have been open to all ages, maybe not.
Right.
But also weird that they were all just teenagers.
Yeah, it's really pretty peculiar.
Yeah,
honestly, and it's still a developing story at this point as we're recording this. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it too, you guys, and bring it back to you.
Right. So universe origin theories. This is a pretty vast topic, honestly. Like really, no pun intended. I mean, the thing about it is they're all theories.
Yeah, of course.
We're just essentially guessing based on evidence that we've found or whatever. And there's been so many throughout history, and some of them have been technically debunked. Some people still believe them. But, I mean, there's new ones coming out.
All the time.
All the time. And so what we're going to do today is I have a list. I found a list online on livescience.com of 10 universe origin theories. And we're kind of just going to go through and talk about them
Cool.
and see what we think about them.
I'm excited.
We won't do all 10. I'll just pick out some of them.
Okay.
So one that jumped out at me when I was reading this article was this theory called the Holographic Universe.
Ugh, I already don't think I like this.
Which I had never heard of. And actually, there's several on here that I had never even heard of. And then I read them and I'm like, oh my gosh.
It just hurts your brain.
Yeah,
almost.
this is a lot to think about. So this one is it's fairly simple, but also pretty complex. So what the holograph universe theory is saying is, you know what a holograph is, right? Like it's a 2D image. So say, you know, like on credit cards, how they used to have that holographic eagle on it. Mm-hmm. So it's a 2D thing that looks like a 3D image.
Like, especially as you move
as
it
you
or
move
whatever.
it, right? It looks 3D. So what they're saying is that our entire existence is encoded on a 2D plane.
Oh, you know what?
So it's like a flat plane.
I have heard this one, and it is very, very weird.
Right. But yeah, so we're just encoded in this 2D plane, but everything to us is 3D.
I don't get it. Because also like we're not 2D. Like we are 3D.
Right.
Because I can feel that I am round. I don't feel flat. Is that holographic?
No, see, and I'm not sure how like that would really work, you know, but
right. Like, is it just saying what we observe around us, or like, because that wouldn't make any sense either, I don't think.
It's almost essentially like it's simulated 3 dimensions though. And of course we perceive it as 3 dimensions.
Yes.
But on the outside of it, I mean, we're just
flat
in a 2D.
Ew,
plane,
I don't like that.
Which I think
I feel like we should all be walking around like stick figures.
And I think that opens it up to the parallel planes. So like if there could be stacks of these 2D planes, you know, and we're 3D in them. But yeah, pretty wild. But when I read that one, I have
heard that one before, and exactly what I just did there. I could not understand how we aren't 2D.
Right.
Like, I know it's saying we perceive that we aren't 2D, but it's like, no, I'm not. I'm literally a human.
Right.
I am a round human. I'm definitely not a flat human.
Yeah.
So, like, I just could not, like, wrap my head around what it was saying. And I don't know if I'm just thinking about it too much, like, on us, you know, like focusing too much on human life.
Yeah.
But I also don't understand how we could be in a 2D universe that is essentially flat, and we are here not flat. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it depends on how big you think about it. Like,
I can't think about it that big.
It's hugely flat.
Yeah. Well, that's also a thing. Like, are we just like a big 2D? Big 2D. Oh my gosh. Like, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is flat, but since it's so big, like the scale.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't know. It's just a theory.
Well, what do you think about it?
Like,
when you think about it, what do you think?
I don't necessarily believe this theory, but I'm saying in the theory, like the way the theory works is what it's saying is we're just perceiving everything as 3D, but it's because we're encoded into a 2D plane. Which is wild.
I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
So another one that was kind of an older theory it's this one called the steady state universe. And what that's implying is, so we all know the Big Bang Theory, right? And I guess we'll probably touch a little more on that one, but the Big Bang Theory is saying that we're ever expanding, you know, and everything's moving further away and we're expanding out further.
Right.
But what the steady state universe theory was saying is that everything is staying in place, like everything's moving, orbiting and stuff, but it's not spreading out. But matter is actually being created at the like edge of the universe. So the universe is just
So it's like expanding on the edges.
yeah, it's
Like
just
not like
it's
where
just growing in size, but like without everything inside of it is not moving outward. But that theory has, since been discredited, especially with the Hubble telescope being able to monitor these things that are far away and see that they are, in fact, moving away from us.
right.
But still, I mean, interesting. That's just kind of a glimpse into how, they thought in the
Well, I
past.
mean, they thought that what we were at the center of everything. Like
Yeah.
long, long, long ago, obviously. But
And some still do.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Because
you do.
also a universe
I'm just
origin
kidding.
theory is also religion.
Yes.
That we were created by some sort of deity and, placed here, for that purpose. And that is another viable, like highly believed theory.
Yeah.
So the other one is pretty fun. This next one is called the Multiverse Theory. So it's pretty much saying that our universe is a bubble in a sea of other bubbles.
Right.
I mean, a huge, vast sea. And every single bubble is a whole universe.
Yeah.
Already, it's hard to fathom the size of even, say, our own Milky Way galaxy. And then, further out from that, our whole universe.
Right.
And then, we're just a tiny little blip. Our universe is just a tiny little bubble.
Yeah. Our whole universe.
Yeah, the whole thing. And then it's just in the sea of, bajillions of other universes.
That's another gross one to me. Like, I feel like a lot of people feel this way. Is like, there's so much out there. There's so much unknown out there. And for
Right.
someone who has a lot of anxiety, that's not very fun to think about. Like,
Right.
I can't say I don't like thinking about this stuff because I do. It's extremely interesting. But it's like, how the hell is that even real? Like, I don't understand how our own universe is real, let alone
Right.
a bunch of tiny universes that are like bubbles just floating around in a sea of dark matter or something.
Well, yeah. It's hard to say what they're and if they're all touching or not, because all of those universes, such as in the picture depicted on this website, they're not touching. They're floating in like a separate universe. So
Right.
there's a bunch of universes. It's not like an ocean like water, but
Well, yeah,
it's
but
just a bubble, and there's so many other bubbles, and they're all different universes in another universe, which then you can just keep going out and out and out, and say this universe that's holding 47 million bajillion quadrillion universes is actually just one other, mega
Well-
universe in a sea of other mega universes.
and
And
who's
it
to
never
say
stops.
right? And who's to say that that isn't real? Because
Nobody.
we don't know. Like, we don't know where or if or when our universe ends, essentially.
Or if it even does.
Exactly.
If it even goes any further than not too far from Earth,
Well, you know
which
what?
are other theories.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing, is like, we could just be looking up at essentially computer code.
Right. So that's another theory, and it might even be the next one, is simulation theory,
Yes, my least favorite.
which is essentially what the movie The Matrix was like loosely
Yeah.
based around, is that we're all actually just living in a simulation that's being provided to us, by I don't know who or what. I'm sure there's many different theories
Well-
on who it is.
Right. And the thing is that we already have games that are simulation theories. Obviously, The Sims is a simulation game.
Right.
And I mean, who's to say that when we are not playing The Sims, like they have their little free will on, maybe right now the Sims that I have made on our computer there are just hanging out living their lives.
Yeah, like
you know?
real.
Yeah, like we are, you know?
Yeah.
And they are in their own universe, on their own earth,
Right.
doing the same exact thing, questioning the things that we are.
Jargle bottle do.
Smyrna.
Smyrna.
Oh, what others?
Flogging beagle do.
What other Somalian?
All of mine end in
talk?
do.
I used to have some really good ones.
Carpal Jongawa.
I wish I could remember. But I mean, it's crazy because that is a very real possibility too. I mean, that's the thing is think about
so
where
weird.
technology is right now. Why,
Right.
honestly, according to some people, I can't think of exactly, but like, is it the Kardashev scale that I've talked about before, where we are not even on the scale, or we're almost to
right.
a level 1 society where we are, using technologies, things like that, whatever. So it's like, if we're so far behind, like,
Who's ahead?
right, exactly.
And maybe there's somebody that is ahead that has created us as an experiment,
Right.
Which is
Created us not even as an experiment necessarily, well, maybe, but as a game. Like, okay, first of all, that's sad. I don't want to think that my life is just like some game being played by a 28-year-old woman sitting there with her popcorn after her kids go to bed being like, you're gonna go woohoo.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just so silly to think about.
But
I don't like this one either.
impossible.
It's not impossible.
yeah.
And that's what a lot of people think too, is like, well, when are we like rebooting, or like what happens if it goes down or whatever? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, like what about when we sleep at night? Maybe that's because our batteries are dying, or we need
Right.
charged, or we need
Are we made of lithium?
yes, we are. But you know what I mean? It's just
It's
I mean,
pretty crazy.
We could very easily do a whole episode on the simulation theory and dive into it a lot more.
For sure. I think a lot of these we really could, dive in a lot
Yes.
deeper. This is really just a brief overview of all of them. And we always end up saying this too, like how we could go so much deeper into this,
We could,
and like
totally.
it's
Well, especially with this one, because I mean, not only we didn't do a ton of research as it is, this is just our opinions and our thoughts and feelings on it.
right, which is cool about this because they're all just theories.
Right.
So I mean, and these are our opinions on theories. So I mean,
Right.
take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, pretty cool. So kind of playing off of the simulation theory, this is maybe not necessarily a universe origin theory, but say a people origin theory. And that's we were placed here as sort of an experiment. And by who or what or when, we're not sure. But so the fact that everything's so perfect where we are, I mean, there's so many things that if they were changed slightly, we would not be able to be here. And like the moon, there is no other moon in our universe that has the same scale of size to our planet as any other planet in our solar system. So all of the other moons are
very
much
small.
smaller in
Yeah.
comparison to the planet that they orbit. So, and that plays a huge part into why our planet is habitable.
Right.
And it's just everything seems too perfect. And like when we have an eclipse, I mean, the moon is in the perfect position between the sun and the earth and the perfect size to just like fully cover the sun, perfectly.
But I also think like if it were a simulation, or if it were fake essentially, or whatever, like why would they bother with, ooh, this cool eclipse is gonna like.
Well, I don't think that. I think that whoever put us here even if it was
Oh,
ourselves.
they just created it to be perfect.
No, they didn't create it. They found it, right? And they're like,
Oh,
"Oh, this is a wonderful planet that, could be inhabited by uh these humans, or like I said, once again, it could have been us from a whole nother, you know, solar system or universe or planet, or or whatever, that we needed to move on somewhere else, and we didn't have a whole lot of people to take with us. We, had just enough to start a new population, and they traveled across the galaxy, found this place, and then placed us here. Like, yeah, this is where they will survive.
well, that's what we're trying to do now is finding, you know, essentially maybe, be able to inhabit Mars.
Right.
And I mean, not saying that that is perfect because obviously it's not because nobody is there right now. Like we can't go just live on Mars right now.
Well, there's also theories saying that we used to live on Mars
Exactly.
and came here.
And I don't necessarily doubt that. I don't doubt that humans as a species have utilized so many resources, used it up and left it behind because that's obviously what we're on the track to be doing right now.
Right.
I personally believe that we either were brought, but maybe not as like a full human. Like I think maybe possibly an alien species came and brought our DNA here.
Yeah, or some like
Something like
earlier
that.
life form.
Yeah, I don't think that everything that has existed on this planet has only happened because of us. Because the more I learn about like the Sumerians and the early ancient Egyptians and things like that, what they had, what they did, the things they did, like the technology they were able to harness was amazing. They knew our solar system. They knew where, celestial bodies were in the sky. They knew what they were. They knew how we could harness energies from the moon and things like that. And how did they know all that? Like, it's insane to me that they could do things so perfectly. Just like you were saying, our planet was so perfect, you know, like, and then these people that were on this planet could do these things so perfectly where they just perfectly line up with the sun or the moon or,
Right. Like the pyramids
yeah,
and all that.
and there's so many instances of that in ancient civilization that it's like, how? How
Yeah.
did they do that?
Right.
And I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think we had a lot of help. I think who knows, maybe the ancient Egyptians were aliens.
Yeah, they could have been some form of extraterrestrial being, and there's a lot of theories that suggest that we did have help from extraterrestrial people. And
Which it's like, come back.
yeah,
Come back.
well, unfortunately, the time they come back, it might not be so good. And according to my buddy, I got a buddy at work, Jay, shout out.
What up, Jay?
Who believes that the moon, is a base for extraterrestrials that are observing this experiment, and right now they're thinking, wow, you guys are really messing this up.
Well,
It's going to be time for a reset. You've got 30 days, and then
30. They better give us more warning than that. Have you heard of the have you heard of like certain UFO encounters or alien encounters happening when there's like a lot of unrest in the world, like when there's issues surrounding like nuclear things or things like that, like things that kind of throw the world into
chaos.
Yeah, into chaos.
Are you like, is that insinuating that they started it or that they're trying to prevent it?
Well, people have said both. I mean, there's also a lot of theories that it's actually just the government is these aliens that come to visit. So they like do almost like simulated abductions or simulated alien sightings or UFO sightings to get us almost like warmed up to the fact that it's going to happen because, it's thought that some top officials know that there are aliens out there and that they work closely together.
Right.
I don't know if I believe all that, but
You never know.
You
That's the
don't
thing.
know. You don't know.
That's the thing about all of this is that, I mean, it's all speculation,
That-
you know? I mean, besides, unless there are some government officials that, you know, are literally involved in the project, you know,
I
and they
think
do
there
actually
are
know, you
some
know,
that
and the
have
rest of us
said.
are just in the dark. And
Well, and that's the thing is a lot of people would be like, well, why would our government lie to us about something like that? Or why would they keep something like that from us? And it's like, y'all, they do it all the time. They not saying that they do it to be malicious or to be whatever, but they have to tell lies and keep things from us
yeah.
to keep us at ease, essentially.
Well, and to keep us safe, because if they just told us everything, then every other country would also know everything.
Right.
So they have
yeah,
to keep
it's
some
like
things a secret, which
they
is why they do
do.
that.
And not saying, you know, that any of what they're keeping from us or all of what they're keeping from us is right or wrong, but just saying that we don't know. We truly do not know. They
Right.
could know so many things from space. They could know so many things about space or about where we came from or about where we're going that we don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a fun little tangent about, you know, where we came from.
Where did we go? We started at simulation theory and
Right,
went
which-
to the government's lying to us.
Well, I mean, which that almost all ties into
Who
to
knows?
each other,
Maybe
you know?
the government, maybe there is actually a government and that is part of the simulation.
Right.
Oh, man.
So I have a couple more theories to talk about, and this one really trips me out. Like, all of these are really so hard to even fathom. So this one is called superfluid spacetime, which
Okay.
already sounds intense.
That's my band name,
So
actually.
that's actually a pretty good band name, superfluid spacetime. So it starts by explaining. So you know we know of 3 dimensions, but this theory is saying we actually know of 4 dimensions because the 4th dimension is time,
Yeah.
right? Because technically time is measurable, and time is it though? Oh my gosh, here we go.
Hey, I mean, no, time
Because-
was created, right?
Well, because technically all we have is right now.
Yeah.
Every second that passes no longer exists.
They could be like the
and
Langoliers back
future
there
seconds
eating up
also
our past.
no longer exist. So anyway, they're saying that time is our 4th dimension, and some other theories indicate that time is actually 2 dimensions, number 4 and 5.
But why?
So this is saying time is the 4th dimension, and that it is a physical thing. So we perceive time as a non-physical thing. It's just kind of something that happens. We made clocks and calendars and, you know, whatever
To keep
try
our
and-
asses on track.
yeah, to stay on track and to, you know, which is directly related to, you know, how long it takes us to spin once. And,
I have to tell you guys, Christian is like,
oh, my hand gestures.
he looks like he's holding a bowl and like stirring it with his fingers.
Yeah, that's how our Earth spins.
He's been doing this whole
You
time,
see?
you guys.
You
Not the
see?
whole episode. That'd be funny.
Well, I do so many hand gestures, which is why we need to get on the video.
He talks with his hands. So, like, if I'm talking to him and I'm not looking at him, even if
Right.
I can hear him and I'm not watching his hand gestures,
Yeah.
he will just stop talking to me.
Yeah, because I mean that's a part of the whole thing. You know, it's my voice and my movements.
Again, with the stirring the bowl of cereal.
It all plays in.
The bowl of cereal? Why did I call? Oh, because I said you're holding a bowl.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So this is saying that time is our 4th dimension. It's a physical thing, and it's a fluid thing. And we can't see it because we don't have the instruments to see it or whatever. And that we're actually living in this fluid it's a 0 viscosity fluid that we're living in, which is time. And it's like movable and like stuff.
I don't like that even more.
Yeah, there's more to that one, and it just blows my mind in like the first 4 sentences. So I'm like, wow.
Well, you know, like 98% of our universe is dark matter.
Right. So that's, another thing. The
That we don't know what it is, you know.
Well, so that actually goes right into this next one that I'm going to talk about.
I was relating it to that one.
Right. So it's kind of related. This one less involves time, but is saying that we got gravity all wrong, because a lot of the things that we base our universe on is gravity. Because
But like, there's literally planets floating in the sky,
well, right,
but like we just stay on the Earth.
well, that's due to the amount of gravity. So like, I mean, the reason that like the moon
Well, I know,
orbits.
but I don't know. It's weird.
So they're saying, I don't know what you're
You
saying.
just looked at me like I was crazy and then just continued on.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, well, yeah, you keep explaining what I just cut you off and was like, there's literally planets floating in the sky.
Yeah. So what this theory is saying is that we've gotten gravity all wrong. Now, we discovered gravity a long time ago, and we've just been basing a lot of things on that. So there was a lot of anomalies, though, in the observable universe that we couldn't explain just with gravity. So that's where the creation of dark matter, well, not the creation, but the like identification of dark matter came from.
Okay.
So this dark matter, air quotes, is how they explain some of the anomalies in the universe, such as the way that clusters of galaxies appear to be held together, because just gravity alone could not do that. Like what we know about gravity, at least, could not do that. So that's where the dark matter comes in, and they say, well, with the help of the dark matter is how this stuff stays together.
But then that almost goes back to what I was saying is like, but why can't it do that when it's literally holding giant planets, and then also like on this one it's holding these tiny people to the Earth without crushing them?
Well, yeah, what it's saying is that, gravity, our measurable, like what we know about measuring gravity, it can only hold so much. So it does hold some things, but there's things that are huge that there's no way with our calculations of how much gravity can hold, it's holding way too much. So they're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't fit into our calculations. And that's when they say, oh, well, if it was gravity with dark matter, now it can hold that. They just had to add to it. And which that's an ever developing, thing too, that we're figuring out.
I said like 98% of our universe. I meant like 98% of our observable universe, I believe.
Yeah. And I'm not sure on the numbers, but yeah.
Yeah, guys, I don't even know if that's right. I'm just saying words. So
words,
if that's wrong,
numbers.
sorry.
27% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So the last one is a cosmic ego trip, saying that we're just all imagining all of it.
Okay, and that's another one I don't like. Like, that's one
like
thing.
You're not real.
Yes.
This house is not real. I mean,
but again, like, how
am I real?
But that's the thing, is like, how are we then hallucinating all of this, basically?
Just because
and
we are.
How would we all? So like everybody that we know in our head, are they real, or are they if they are real, are they hallucinating the same thing as we are? Are we having a shared hallucination?
Well, it's saying that, I mean, literally everything you know is not real.
I know, but
so it's so hard. Like, yeah, to me, like, you're not real, but you're saying these things, to kind of like just create
what, to stir the pot?
Right, more things.
I think this is when we have to say, we got to get Kendall and Josh in on the convo.
Right.
The Mile Higher crew.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah.
We know you're listening.
They're definitely listening. I'm sure they're so not busy right now
right.
with all their things they have going on. But I was actually, when I was thinking about the Earth and whatever, I was just listening to an episode where Janelle was saying how when she was little, she imagined, like a little Earth with all these people sticking up off of it.
Oh, yeah.
So like you're on the bottom and you're like, how are you not falling off? You know what I mean? But that's what I was thinking about too. But that would be such a fun conversation if we had even more people, I think, in on it. And especially people like them, because they are so open-minded and, have so many different like viewpoints, I should say.
Right.
I mean,
It would be awesome.
That is where I've heard a lot of this stuff from, is their
Yeah.
podcast actually. So
And now ours.
yeah, and now ours. But God, it's just, I don't like that one either, because but that's the thing, is that if nothing was real, but you somehow are real enough, or what's the word, like present enough to have a trip like this, or to have a hallucination like this, why? Who are you? What is it? Like, it doesn't make sense.
We're just being prepped in our simulation,
For
mixed
what?
with a cosmic ego trip for our battle at Darjeeling.
Darjeeling, that's a tea.
That's what you think,
Oh my gosh.
but it's not.
You guys, what the heck?
Yeah, these are crazy. And
These are totally wild.
if your brain is all scrambled,
Mine definitely is.
give us some
Mine-
Nobel Prizes.
Oh yeah, do that. We lobotomized you guys with our space talk.
Yeah, with our theories. Well, not
Our
theories.
theories. But you guys, if you want to hear more about these extremely interesting and extremely peculiar theories, let us know.
Mhm. And we would love to dive in deeper.
Yes, we would love to. And we would love to hear which ones you guys want to hear more about. So hit us up. Visit www.particularlypeculiar.com. And there is a little contact us form that you can submit. Let us know what you would like to hear. Otherwise, you can leave a comment down below if you are watching on YouTube. If you visit that website, that also has all of our social medias. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, literally everywhere.
Like, comment, follow, subscribe,
Rate,
review.
Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your dog.
Tell your goats
Yep.
and your
Everybody.
chickens.
Everything, everybody, everywhere. Shout it from the rooftops.
We love you all.
Also, I have an idea to bring a little more content to you guys. And I have thought about coming on here once a week aside from our regular episodes, and like reading creepy stories or sharing creepy stories, kind of like that. But it would probably just be me, since I am home more. But I just want to know what you guys would think of that. Is that something that you would think is cool? If so, what kind of stuff would you like to hear? Again, let us know. Leave a comment down below.
This is a perfect opportunity for anyone out there who has a story that they want
Yes. Yes.
put onto our
Please do.
episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we would love for you to send us any stories you have about just, I mean, anything strange or whatever.
Well, and I'm going to open this up here. Like, we definitely want to do listener stories in the future as well, like real accounts. But even for this, like, if you guys are good at writing and you want to send us like your spooky spaghettis instead of creepy pastas, send us your spooky spaghettis and I'll read them.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And I'll give you a shout out and everything. So if that is something that you guys would be interested in, let us know, because that was our cat. That scared me at first.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Joffrey.
Joffrey. Where is he? He's not even in here. He's outside. Okay, you guys, if that's something that you would be interested in, please let us know. Again, www.particularlypeculiar.com. Do a little contact us box info thingy, you know.
Yep.
Socials, YouTube, all the good stuff.
Yes.
All right? Until next time, we will see you again.
Our peculiar people.